I caught Bobby jacking off. Syrup ain't no cough. Big Hank, break the law. Lady Bird, that's my dog. Peggy got that wet, I flip you like a tech deck. Yeah, I run my set. I'm running up them checks.
Wait. Oh no.
Lyrics coming at you at supersonic speed.
Some of them are doom on a dang old Cuban man, boy. I tell you what, I get a goddamn superhuman, innovative, animated dang old rubber, so that anything you say is ricocheting back at you, man. Devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to get a dang old audience of feeling like a set of hay, faded like a farmer's tan, man. I tell you what, here's getting worked up, complain hot like propane, boom, how splitting them facts, man, spinning them rhymes like a dang old tornado, jib-jab like it just ain't no thing. Why be a god and not a dang old king?
Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said.
All right, guys. Professor Savage Dad is running a little late, but kind of a new thing that I'm doing right now, and just to give you a little heads up before we jump into it, so people are not like questioning what the hell is going on. I'm going to be playing at the beginning of my streams. I do a weekly short story called Ultra Xenophobe, super uber high testosterone. So I'm going to release one of those pieces because I also every week release the audio and video for it. So I'm just going to kind of use that as my intro going forward. So enjoy.
A mixture of caffeine and tobacco pumps into my veins to wake me up. What a fantastic breakfast. Today I'm traveling with a brigade of mighty xenophobe Marines, the deadliest warriors in the universe. We just arrived on a random desert planet to back up our sisters. The Sisters of Prejudice. They are the deadliest woman bred into the world. The only woman capable of the highest rated T-shots that feed the xenophobe Marines. Of course, they are only given 3/4 of what the Marines get, and therefore only get 3/4 of the glory. Space lizardmen inhabit this planet. The Council of Xenophobes underestimated how many of them would be here. I'm surprised the Sisters of Prejudice were able to survive. Space lizard men are some of the toughest Xenos out there. The only Xenos I've ever considered respecting, except they have a reliance on their psychic snake men. We have our own psychics, but we would never let those nerds lead anything. The only good thing those nerds have ever done was give me a good defense against psychics. Jimmy is my brainworm. He doesn't do much, but sometimes he has some funny thoughts to keep me entertained when I'm bored. He also gives me great tips on how to invest in something called crypto. I don't really get it, but Jimmy seems to know what he's talking about. Enough talk about that stuff. Time for murder. The Sisters of Prejudice were being pushed back to their defenses. Unacceptable! Offense is the best way to murder, not defense. My Marine brethren run in to bolster their sisters. I leap into the center of the space lizardmen forces. Giant bipedal alligator xenos with wrist blasters, all twice my size, snap their attention to me. They might be insanely bigger than me, but that doesn't change the fact that I have twice the testosterone of them all combined. At once, they charge towards me. I swing around my mace with the skull of my mentor. My mentor's skull is stronger than theirs, and I take pleasure in hearing their skulls crack as my mace bounces off of them. They roar in anger, watching me dance in the blue blood as it rains down on me. My smile is large, like a kid trying to hide the fact that he took food he wasn't supposed to eat. Now that they truly fear me, they resort to using their wrist blasters. I dodge around the shots, and I grab one of their friends to use as a shield. As I grab the massive lizard, I realize that my left arm from the elbow down is missing. I see the lizard's faces. They think that shooting my arm off is some kind of victory. First of all, I only need one finger to murder them all. Second of all, humans have always been able to heal. It's usually an extremely slow process, and people normally can't heal an entire limb. But those people lack discipline. I tell my body what to do. It's that simple. Just a light grunt of effort, and my arm grows back. I heard that back in the day, nobody was able to do this. Had it never occurred to them to work out their healing ability? I can do all things through training and testosterone, which strengthens me. The lizard human shield I'm using is running out of meat. So I drop it and force the closest lizardman to be his dead brother's replacement. I prep myself to ramp up the murder per second, but then lizardmen explode next to me. Then more lizardmen explode. I notice the weapon flying in the air, causing the mass murder. A chakram with grenades aligned in it. The legendary Grenacrum. It returned to its master, a testosterone-infused Amazonian woman, the greatest of the Sisters of Prejudice. Xenophobe, warrior princess. Nothing is hotter than a woman skilled in the art of mass murder. Ultra Xenophobe, the forces of space lizardmen are retreating. What are your orders? Her velvet voice asked. Pursue and murder all until this planet is empty of its blue-blooded leather bags. I'm sure the Sisters of Prejudice can handle it from here. She grinned, dark brown hair flowing in the wind. 20 of the sisters are pregnant from witnessing your great murdering, but I am more than capable of making up for that loss. That happens often when women witness me. Go on and kill Xenos. Testosterone be with you, sister. Testosterone be with you, brother. She ran off, leaving a cloud of blue, bloody mist in her wake. I'd stick around and help out, but Xenophobe, warrior princess, will cleanse the planet easily enough. I'd marry that woman if I weren't too busy murdering Xenos.
All right, welcome to the stream. We're talking Mighty Golden Patriot today, and Professor Savage Dad just made it in time. Hopefully his audio is going to work. Hope you enjoyed my little audio book right there. I do that every week, so just check it out. Go to my Twitter, my Substack, all that linked below, and you can catch that when I release it. Savage Dad, what's up, man? Can you hear me? No? Okay.
There
cool.
you are.
All right, just make sure to keep yourself muted when you're not talking, but otherwise I think it should be good.
Turn this up. It's like an idiot.
Man, we could have started this at 10 if that would have worked better.
Well, look,
No.
can we? I know I'm late. That's it. I will own it when we go on stream. All my fault. Give me 15 minutes. I'm literally only that far from home. And then I can be on
Okay.
like a real camera.
Okay, all right, yeah. So rough audio to them.
With a real microphone.
Again, we're going to start till then. Thanks for showing up, Zaid. Comics Phil Diaz. No, the female's not AI either. It's just me doing a female voice.
I'm just talking like a girl. It's okay. Look at
Yeah.
my big kitty goth version episode of the Ultramarines on my Substack.
Could you imagine?
Kitty gets 4 arms can jerk you off.
Could you imagine getting AI to do that terrible, like, man trying to sound like a woman voice? So my voice is deep, man. It's hard for me to do a feminine voice. It's all that testosterone.
It's really hard for you to do that. I mean, Kermit the Frog has an
Hey,
people recognize how deep Kermit the Frog's voice actually is.
absolutely. All right, so we both read not just Mighty Golden Patriot, which is going to be the second book where we review by Yellow Flash, artist John Dillard. I got to remember to mention who's doing the art of this stuff. And then we got Tales from the Battlefield, which was something you could add on during the campaign and like was not really advertised at all.
No, they didn't mention
missed
it.
I had to go back and order it. I was like, what? Yeah.
But also to their credit, it was only like what, $6. So
It was. I had to double check because I wanted to. I want to like see the price compared to the page count and stuff like that. It was $8, which is very cheap.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, no.
for an indie book, actually pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, $8. It's like 20 pages or something like that. So obviously, you're going to see a better deal somewhere, but I think that's like it's a solid deal. We'll get into that. I don't want to, get ahead of myself here. But yes, it's Tales from the Battlefield. That's the writer, written by Literature Devil, which is interesting. And the writer is Japanese, Akamoto. He goes by the Quaff, which I think I'm in a DM group with them, but I don't ever. It's a pretty quiet talk DM group, but still, I've never talked to him before. But yeah, so this was interesting to get interesting ideas. So we're going to be talking about this one first. Anything you think we want to mention before we kind of just jump into the review?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. There wasn't, there's a million things you could talk about with regard to all of the drama and stuff that went on around it, but as far as just the book itself, no, I think that's
we can
pretty
talk
good.
about that later too. And then the drama.
We'll save that for the.
Yeah. And who knows? My most recent video on my channel is about Super Killer. So maybe we might have to compare the two. Who did better?
Yeah, right. Yeah, everybody go check out the Super Killer review. Everybody was. I know so many people were waiting for that.
Yeah. No, I do know that the Quaff's been on the scene for years. I think he's been like not off the scene. He's just been behind scenes. I'm kind of like a John Dillard has been like hard to. I mean, one of the shows I'm on, he's in the green room for that, and he like rarely shows. But shit, what was I gonna say? But no, I did a great. First off, I did the best review out there for Super Killer that there is, and I was kind of like I got that before I was like on the scene, But
I thought it was the only review. I think people may be sleeping on the Super Killer review. The Super Killer review actually better than the comic. I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh yeah, he thinks Michael, welcome to the stream. He thinks he had a new baby recently, and yeah, that would answer that. No, I think I was also the only person to like compare the preview that was sent out with what we got, which I still baffles me why he would ever send out that preview freaking chapters. Like that was such a bad move. Yeah, anyway, so I don't want to get too much into that. Let's focus on because this is still a Yellow Flash book.
Yeah, as far as
I'm trying to see how he's listed. It's just I think it's a part of his world. I don't know, like it doesn't even list him as an editor or anything like that. So I think it's just a part of his world, and I guess approved by him, but not even like edited. I mean, like all Rippaverse books, which obviously this is Rip Ascend. It's not Rip. No, yeah, it's a Rip Ascend book. They will sometimes get the Rippaverse people to edit their stuff, and so we got Carol Brown. Yeah, all right. Well, first off, we're talking Tales from the Battlefield. Okay, or let me start the review right there. Written by Literature Devil, art by the Quaff, and yeah. So the editors in this, we got Carol Brown, Jen and Sylvia Saska, which are typically the they pretty much edit every Rippaverse book. They're listed somewhere in all those books. And then Invisible Arts Studio, which I think is forgetting his name. It's slipping my mind. Somebody's going to mention it. Hopefully, is watching this. It's the same guy that like does the lettering for freaking every book out there. I want to say like Eric. His name's like Erickson or something like that. But I think he was like the letterer on ISOM as well. But you see his name as like the letterer for everyone's books. Kind of funny.
I kind of wonder, like, does Ripascend end it? I thought Ripascend was just a distribution thing. I kind of wonder if they're selling editing services and some other services as well.
They are. I've seen in like interviews that it will vary depending on what they do, and also who knows what they're negotiating in the back. It will depend on what's happening or what they're going to get charged. Sometimes they will literally just be the shipping, the logistics part of it. Sometimes they're gonna have editors and stuff like that. I guess it's all depending on what they negotiate. I think I saw a stream of Carol Brown discussing that information. But okay, so I like the idea of having this book, like with the Mighty Golden Patriot having a like side book that's in the same universe, but like a short story of that. You know, I kind of like having that kind of companion book, so it's an interesting idea. I like that there was an option on the campaign. But let me get a little bit into the overall story. Usually, I have Evely on these type of streams with me, and he does a great little roundup of stuff. So, but he didn't get this book. He didn't back it. But yeah, so we have Jack. Somebody name's slipping me, but dude is a soldier. His team got ambushed by not Nazis because this is World War One. This is World War One time period, right towards the end of that, and he got ambushed by Germans and messed him up. But then the person who had saved him, he finds out, is in trouble, and so it's this Japanese woman, and Japanese were allies during World War One, and so he goes to save her. And he has to go against some Yakuza boss, and action ensues, and he faces off against the Yakuza boss. We'll get into details what that happens, but that's pretty much happens. And I don't know if you caught this, Savage. There's a theme in this story. You might have missed it. There is a theme. Luck or fortune. One of those two words are the same word, right?
I would say that was kind of what they were going with on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell. It wasn't mentioned 3 times in every single page, and I'm not even being over dramatic on that. There's most of the pages, either luck or fortune is mentioned 3 times.
Yeah, it would have been very hard to miss that particular theme that they were going for.
Yeah. All right. So it's not on the first page, but we'll the second page. I think it's mentioned several times. I'm going to embarrass myself. Okay, it happens on the third. Nope, second page. Yeah, so this is the first time we see it. This is technically the third page, and then it's mentioned again right here. And so I did my quick, my brisk through read, and I'm like, okay, this is, my opinion was like, okay, I didn't really have time to. I read it right after Mighty Golden Patriot. It wasn't until the second time where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a review for this, and then I really was trying to think stuff and look into the detail, and right off the bat that stood out to me. It was like luck. I'm like, okay, maybe you need to switch up the words. I'm like, okay, this is the theme they're going for, and then he's going to be switching to his desktop. Oh, come on, man! I want your opinion on some of the things I'm going to mention. But so the first page opens like this. I'm going to try not to show every page. So I will say, opening it up and then you get your impressions. I think this is a cool page. The choice was a good way to open it. This is actually the rough, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, this art's a little rough. I like it, but it's rough. And it's not as rough through later pages, which was interesting, but it's not like we're not going to read past the first page if we already bought the book. But I will mention, especially, most of my criticisms are coming from my second read through. The it's not dialogue, but the word choices we're getting here, just trying to be edgy, and it just kind of came off as lame. And I'll read it to you guys right here. It's really short. A world at war, the darkest war the world has ever seen. And we got that, those 2 very short sentences. We have 2 words that are used twice. It's clunky, right? Both war and world. Scars never go away, which is the next line. And sorry. A war. Jesus Christ, dude. A war to scar the earth and scar the soul. And I'm like, I don't feel like that was the best way to phrase that sentence. Like, you should have just said a war to scar the earth and the soul. Like, you don't have to say scar twice again. Like, you get this repeat of words is very clunky. So again, I guess the editing of these words should have been more clear. I know for sure an editor on one of my books would have been like, you got to stop using the same word over and over again. And then the next line, scars never go away. Well, shit. That's what scars are. You don't need to say, again, a lot of these people put dialogue into stories, and it gets annoying because it's lines like that. It feels like you're treating the reader like they're dumb. Like, we don't need to, you said scar, we get it. Scars don't go away. Well, no shit. That's how scars work. Thank you. What are we talking about here? And so, especially that being like the opening lines and how clunky it was, I'm almost thinking, I've very much been thinking about this, like how you start off a story first with the words. A lot more ever since the John A. Douglas Orc City meme. So, yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, look up Orc City, and you'll get John A. Douglas the first paragraph to his book. Okay. See, this is why I like to have somebody with me, so I can be like, "Hey, so how'd you feel about this? How'd that work for you?" Fucking savage, dad. God damn it. The scar guards never go away. There are too many of them. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then so basically that was a flashback scene that we got opening up with, and again, I'm fine with that. And it's mentioning how the main character, what's his name? Oh, it's not introduced. I'm just gonna call him Roger for now. But it's basically, you get him, and he's like, he's got his commander. He's like trying to convince him, like, we need you for one more mission, and he's like PTSD'd out. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. I got bad luck. Bad luck. Got my entire squad killed. And it's just a lot of talk about luck. And he's like, no, dude, I don't care. You're gonna go back to war, even though you're scarred. Medical said you're approved, but essentially, he's like, the commander's like, well, that person that saved you from that day, because they don't tell you that he was saved. He just kind of looks like he was about to die. But there it is. This is on the first page. Rick Rogers, Lieutenant Rick Rogers. Yeah, the woman that saved him that day is in trouble. I'll ask you now here, since you're back, Savage Dad. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Well, I won't ask you then. Fucking crazy. Killing me. I can't hear you. Oh my god, it's so quiet. Wait, I could hear you. It's so quiet. Can you hear me better now? I'm trying to run a show here, Savage Dad. Why are you so quiet? Your volume's turned all the way up on Talk Studio. Hold on. My mic should not be this fucking quiet. So we got the woman that saved him. And we got the, like, basically it get back to the flashback what happened, which was the guy that's murdered his whole squad, that was going to murder the main character. He was stabbed by a katana, right? You're too quiet, dude. What Michael say? Almost as good as the opening lines of my next book. The moon hangs low and red on the horizon, like the infected testicles of my youth. Yeah, it's a great line. Okay. And this is all right. So the next thing I'm going to say, I'm like freaking showing every page, but this is a short story, and I mean, in general, you don't want too many words per page. It can hurt the flow. Sometimes you don't want to be afraid with that, but I think with a short story, 20 pages, you really have to be worried about that, especially when you're telling the full story in said short story, like, because this is a beginning, middle, and end. We might get another episode with this character, but it's not doesn't have to be with that character. Again, it's the same thing, Savage Dad. You're incredibly quiet. So either the volume's going through like your camera or your gain is like all the way down. I can't hear anything. But yeah, so we got this page, and as you can see, there's a lot of like lore dumping, a lot of words to go through. And it's to try to like get the reader up to date with what's going on. And I'm like, it's maybe not the best way to set up the story, or it's just being told in kind of a convoluted way. Oh, wait. Talk again?
Am I better now?
Yes, you're better now.
Yeah, Talk Studio did some weird shit here.
It always does.
It's like picking the weirdest fucking options for my audio. That makes absolutely no sense. But hey, fuck it. If you can hear me and it's better now, let's fucking go. But yeah, I was gonna agree with you.
I almost turned into Garth from Wayne's World, or well, actually Scanners. Don't leave him alone on the camera.
I was gonna say, like, I agree. Like, it's a short story, and you don't want to be overly wordy. Not everybody gets to be Chris Claremont in their 24 pages or 28 pages or however much you have in a normal floppy. So you don't want to.
Well, those Bronze Age comics, especially going through the new Teen Titans right now, it's like, man, they just loaded those comics up with words back in the day. It worked back then. Stories have kind of culturally evolved. We don't do that. I'm not saying this is wordy like that, but still.
Yeah. There's a lot of wordiness and the not a lot of wordiness, but it was. In all honesty, I will say there's one thing I felt like the theme throughout Golden Patriot, and this is not an overabundance of wordiness, actually. But that they were trying to explain a lot in 20 pages about what was going on, and I felt like they probably would have been served by, I don't know, putting a few more pages into the book just to move it along.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna say this too. It's the same. It's my not necessarily criticism, but it's something I'm gonna say with Golden Patriot. Simple versus like complex, right?
Yeah.
And none of those equal good or bad, right? So I think he was trying to go for complex, which is right off the bat for a short story, not a good idea. And then on top of that, like when you're going for a more complex story, well, you have a lot more opportunity to be, look a little stupid, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Like that was one of the things I liked when with Gabe Al-Taib's All American Lawman with D. Kane. Very simple story and more than enough time. Like it's not it. There's plenty in here to do the things you need to do, but not overly wordy, not overly complex. A very simple story and executed really well for. I don't remember how many pages that was, like 96 pages. It was relatively long, but it's like this all works out well because it's just a very simple story moving you straight forward with action and adventure. And it's not trying to overload you with anything. It's not trying to it really hit the mark of what it needed to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bar I use for indies anymore. If you're doing an action adventure indie, like if you've got the I think it's a lot to ask somebody who's just starting out, who's just doing it new, to put out something complex. Like
well, here's the thing too. I do want to mention choice of black and white for do this comic, and since it's a previous time period of Mighty Golden Patriot, I really like the choice of black and white. What's up, Baz? 1500. What's going on? I don't know how he wants that pronounced, but So Literature Devil wrote this, right? And I know he has, I think, a few comics out, or at least I think he just started a campaign for another one, and I think he's written a book. So he has some writing experience under his belt, but that doesn't necessarily equal good. The thing about writing is like bad writing just doesn't stand out to people or yourself. It's just like it's so much easier to look at a visual illustration and be like,
yep,
that's not good or that's good, right? Whereas when it's writing, it's so much harder to see what works and what doesn't,
not going in a useful direction. Like, and this is something I was saying recently. I've been reading some of the Absolute comics. I borrowed them from a friend who wanted an honest opinion of it, and I was like, sometimes the Batman stuff is good, sometimes it's kind of dog shit. And I can say that off the bat just by looking at it. I can skim through a comic and say, yeah, this one where they replace the normal artist with the other artists, it's dog shit. But like Absolute Superman, the art's actually pretty good. No complaints on that front. Like I have nothing to complain about there. So it's like, yeah, art is something you can very quickly, like, again, we're humans, you just see it like, oh, I like this art or I don't. I like, you can call it gritty, you can try to put art. That's the thing, it's hard to put art into context, bad art into context. You can say that a certain art style looks a certain way because, oh, it's trying to be very gritty in a different universe.
Well, I like this style generally speaking, but there's definitely a lot of panels in here, and I'm just like, you could use a little more detail, or it looks blocky, or it doesn't necessarily look blocky overall. So
there's a lot of complexity to the panel work in the short story. Like, it was very, like you said, blocked out, straightforward, very boom, 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 boom. We're just getting through these panels here. Like, the panel work wasn't dynamic. Again, I do give a lot of leeway to people who are just starting out of this. They've got to learn, and you don't learn to be dynamic. Like, very few people who are relatively new to comics are going to know how to be dynamic with panel work. I mean, not everyone's going to be good at that.
No, and hey, chat, can you let me know if me compared to him, if I'm too loud compared to him? Because I know that's
always loud. I'm just going to put that out in the world right now.
It's my Italianness, you know.
Have a mic. Like, is it the top of the bus? Bottom of the bus? I don't even know where.
Man, I kill myself because I write notes, right? And I know this was a good note because it was something to do with the dialogue, but I don't put what page it's on.
I'm gonna write, but I'm not gonna note a page.
Well, because it was like there was a sentence where first is repeated twice in the same sentence, and I'm like,
I need to go grab the book, but I don't remember where it is either. But I do know what you were saying. There was a moment where I was reading. This is one thing I note when especially if I'm reviewing a comic. If I ever have to stop and reread a word balloon, that's a note for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the word luck in here, fortune.
It's in
you had bad luck. You had good luck. Bad luck.
Oh, the whole that kind of indie that back and forth with the Yakuza boss was.
Oh, and that's towards the end. Yeah, no, it's look, obviously you want a theme in your stories, but like you just don't. I'm not. Look, I know I'm on the short bus. I know that's like a meme and all, but I'm like, I'm not actually retarded.
No,
it's like you watch Bullet Train, and like the thing, and like it's pretty obvious in Bullet Train too, but they don't smack it over the head with you because in there, like it's against Japanese. The theme is luck versus destiny. Yeah. Because they're kind of the same thing. What is luck if it's not destiny? And it plays with that. But it's a little bit more in the foreground, it's not like constantly in the dialogue or anything.
Again, I think that this is the same kind of excuses, and I'll admit they are excuses. But it is me excusing a new creator putting something out there. Maybe not Literature Devil and more on Yellow Flashes, but this Yellow Flash could be like, well, that was Literature Devil's book. It's like, no, Yellow Flash, this is your book. This is all you. And
again, yeah, but it's just like it's same thing with like Rippaverse stuff. Like Caro Brown, Saska sisters, they're both listed as editors on here, and I'm like, no. Again, like it's a lot of the complaints to the Rippaverse books. It's like people don't. I mean, you can never really know because at the end of the day, sometimes the writer could especially if the writer's own book, they can say like, I don't care if you're suggesting this, but if you're the editor on the book, you have to be catching this stuff. And so in the case where the sentence repeats first twice, it's like, okay, that's not even like the whole thematic thing of luck and fortune being mentioned again. That's just a bad sentence. And I'm like, why is an editor not pointing out that this is a bad sentence? Especially if I'm catching it too, because I'm not an editor. I've written books. I cannot
you're
edit.
a writer. You're terrible at editing.
Yeah. I'm terrible at writing, to be honest. Anyway, like honestly, my next book, my wife is I don't even know the term for it. Like she's like ghostwriting, but obviously I'm going to list her as a writer. We're trying it out because she's just a better writer than me. So I'm like, let me just really
a better writer than me too. My wife is a better artist too. She has a steady hand. She actually can write consistently. Like I'm not good at any of that shit.
But basically, I'm just detailing out a chapter, and she's writing it, and then I'll like review it. And,
You're the plotter, and she's the scripter ostensibly.
Yeah.
There you go.
I must have. I'm gonna stop trying to look for it, but it's again.
I think I'm pretty sure I remember what you're mentioning too, and when I go grab the book for myself, I'm gonna pour through and find it. But yeah, I do remember there was a particular word balloon that I'm like, why is this in here again? And it stopped me. That was one of the things I remember with that book in particular is it did stop me, and I had to go reread it to make sure I wasn't like old man eyes. They're starting to fail on me. Do I need glasses? Oh no, it is really there twice.
Yeah, and then okay, so we get like later on, he goes to save the girl, and it's basically just right to action, which is cool, fine. Like he just storms in, and he's just like plowy, right, and it's pretty cool. And then you find out that the guy from the very beginning, from the flashback scene, is still there with his like hammer, and he's like,
yeah,
something with stars, and again, luck is mentioned several times. It was bad luck that you survived, and it was lucky that whore missed my heart. Which so basically, when the girl stabbed him in the chest from the back with a katana, it was lucky that she missed his heart, and he's just got a scar now. And I'm like, bro, no way you survived that.
Yeah, it still hits your fucking lungs, or like you don't get stabbed through the chest. Like I'm lucky that you didn't hit my. Yes,
well, like there was, I would assume there's nobody else there to pick you up, and like she didn't like just make sure you're dead. Like no way. I'm immediately thinking the acolyte right now, which is because I'm thinking all the time Star Wars people got stabbed by lightsabers, and they're just like, oh, I missed the vitals.
I don't want to sound like some sort of weeb douchebag, but I will say what took me out of it was the second I saw her in the particular costume, given the time era, I'm like, are we supposed to wank to this? Like, why is this World War II era Japanese samurai chick in like a gooner costume?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna read this whole page. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna read it all. Right here. This is that same villain guy talking to the main character. It was lucky I found your men. It was lucky you fell right into my trap. It was lucky my ambush worked perfectly. But the old man's spell wasn't done yet. It was unlucky that you survived. It was unlucky that you had a guardian angel watching your back. Then again, it was lucky that whore missed my heart. Like, okay, but stop there. We get the idea.
Lucky. Well, I mean, the spell is supposed to be some sort of luck spell, but it's like we got enough from the fact that the spell is supposed to be revolving around the luck of the Reich. The
tides of war.
tides of war kind of thing. Like we get it at that point. Anything more is really over explaining.
Yeah. And the main character, like, as the gotcha when he goes to fight back, he's like, you told me my lucky stars weren't shining, but this time you've been outshined. And I'm like, it's like you can read this book and try to go for like read the characters in this voice and have like kind of a comedic, like fun time happening with this. But I'm just like, it's just, I get it. The art leans towards silly, but I'm just like,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
This is like a silly, not necessarily silly, but like It's something that we would see as silly today that maybe back in the late 40s and early 50s they would have seen as serious kind of thing. Like they would have been like, this is something we made back then, but today it looks kind of hilarious because they're really
Yeah. Okay. We have unfortunate right on this page, and then we have lucky. So that's two basically luckies on that page. Yeah. It's just
unfortunately lucky.
so we get to this whole like he gets to the boss, the crime boss. I'm also kind of like it was again. This was like the problem in the beginning where it was like really jumbled with like what was going on with this girl being taken by the Yakuza boss and stuff like that, and it was so the hook for me to care about this whole situation was kind of off, right? Um, it was like I wasn't really fully understanding why we what this has to do with the overall war and stuff like that. But yeah, so we get to this crime boss and he's got like sushi laid out. Basically, he's just like, yeah, like two of these sushi rolls are poison and one of them isn't. And they play a little game and then they discuss luck again over and over again.
Luck, 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 luck.
Yeah, I don't even know how many times luck's mentioned on this. And again, this is the thing. Like, so he goes and explains the plan of the virgin sacrifices to change the luck of the war so they're gonna win, so they'd win. But I'm like, dude, you already explained, like, or not this character, but it's already been explained to the reader what this guy is doing. And I'm like, did you just tell the exact same lore bits twice in a short story? I'm like, that's not. I'm like, that's not. And and it's right at like the climax. The tension, the very tensious bit. And I'm just like, that was again. I feel like I'm like think I'm a little retarded right now. Which fair. I'm in a short bus. Yeah, so the guy is like, and I don't even know why he's doing this. Like, he grew up as a fisherman. The mob boss, he was poor. Like, he grew up really poor as a fisherman, and because he was unlucky, born poor. But now he's not, and now he's using this spell because to luck is everything, right? And which is true. But now they have this deadly game of sushi. Why they're playing a sushi game? I don't know. He wants to show off his luck.
I mean, I think
so.
It felt very like something you would see at the end of a James Bond movie. Like, the Bond villain doesn't necessarily. It's just going to kill you. We're going to play this overly elaborate game of eating sushi.
Well, he's also it's like he's like it doesn't matter because he's like there's two pieces of poison sushi, one not poisoned. And it doesn't matter if they both eat the poison. Because he's like, my plan still wins. I'm like, so I like
that was
but if that's still lucky for you, I'm like, you don't want to live?
Yeah.
And so he's the mob boss is gonna be blindfolded while this is happening, and he's letting the hero pick it. And I'm like, this is kind of stupid. So basically the hero's like, oh, like I can't lose this. Because it showed before. It showed it was this was set up. It showed that he was reading a book on sushi, studying up on this whole thing, and that he knew by the color of the sushi that he knew which one wasn't poisoned, which sounds witty at first, but then I'm like,
yeah, the setup was.
Did you like? Where was it that he was obsessed with sushi? Like, why did you study sushi? Because he's a fisherman?
Yeah,
what?
I was like, oh look, this particular like farm raised fugu versus wild caught fugu has a difference in coloration. I'm like thanks for throwing that in at the very end of the book, but like you know what, you could have like weaved in something about this guy's sushi. Like I completely agree with what you're saying. I thought again the ending was a bit ham-fisted,
a little bit too much with luck. Why would you? And I'm like, okay, I get it. He like even though
he prepared.
He's like willing to lose. He's willing to let whatever the guy decides be it. But I'm like, well, I guess, okay, he blindfolded himself because I'm like, he would know which one's poison and which one isn't. But
Yeah.
It's just I didn't like it. You know, like the more I kind of like think about it, the more I'm like I chew on it. I'm like, you know.
Kind of the thing I felt about it, I was like, when you look at it at what it is, it was the indie comic priced, relatively cheap companion book. And when I ordered it, I thought, okay, this is going to give some backstory, maybe that they didn't get into in Golden Patriot. And I can understand that, like in seeing other indie comics, usually the first issue is
That's
missing,
the other thing. Yeah.
and like this, I will say 100%, you don't actually have to pick this up to read Golden Patriot.
Well, I was hoping it was at least like it's obviously that it's in a shared world, which is just
Yeah, you get that.
fantasy version of our own world. But I'm like, but it's not even like close. It has no effect at all to because we're talking about World War One, whereas in Mighty Golden Patriots, World War Two, and I'm like, I would have much preferred a story at least to have like a sense that like even if you Mighty Golden Patriot wouldn't play a part, like I'd like to at least hear him see his name written in a news article on like the wall or something like that, you know?
I mean, the closest you got to like tying back to Golden Patriot was a German's interest in the occult. That's kind of it at the and it wasn't even a German. It was like somebody German affiliated in the Yakuza that had an occult thing going on for them. But like in all honesty, and this is key. If you're doing a companion book, like if you don't tie it back to the original story or to the main story in some way that's actually at least even mildly fundamental, the book is useless. Like you don't need it, you don't have to have it, you don't have to pick it up. Nobody has to pick that to read that in order to get any more from Golden Patriot than you're going to get from Golden Patriot by just buying Golden Patriot and reading it.
Yeah. Well,
I
I just
But yeah,
that was a I mean this doesn't like ultimately determine that like obviously I'm going to have bad books among good books hopefully, you know, but it's just like you know, yeah, this doesn't necessarily mean that Literature Devil's a bad writer, but
no,
this was my first taste of his work. And again, I go back to what I originally said in the beginning. I'm like, he tried to go for a complex story, and it's just in the meantime, you leave a lot more potential holes that could be in there where you're just like,
yep,
you know, I especially for a short story, it's like the go like I don't know if I'm writing a short story, which I have. I mean, there's some complex elements of there, but the root of the story I want to be simple because you don't have the time to
yeah,
talk about the dude's backstory. Like you don't have like time to explain things, so it's like you got to make sure that the people can pick up the information quick, and it's not at all like going to. They're not going to have to second guess it at all, you know.
yeah.
So
You're not gonna have to go back and reread word bubbles. You're not gonna be like, "What? Am I sure I'm reading this correctly? Is this supposed to be this way?" Like you just kind of want to read it, get through it, and be done with it. That's
yeah, I mean, like to have the guy reappear as the villain who is like the guy he faced off with that you know gave him the PTSD in the beginning. I get why you want him to show up again, but either A, you have to have a better explanation of how he escaped, just not getting freaking stabbed, or just like again, it's sort of who cares? Just have another ultimate bad guy, you know?
it's the exact same problem they had with in what the hell was it in Kenobi where what was it Reva stabs Vader in the heart like right through the chest and it's like are they really killing Vader like in continuity no he just magically survived. It's like no you don't that's not how a chest stabbing works.
Yeah. Plus, it's also weird to have like, and the art signifies more silly story writing, and of course, I like my silly stories. But to have Mighty Golden Patriot, which is not silly, like I mean, you know, a little bit silly, but not, you know, obviously it's a freaking Power Ranger, but um, obviously the tones are completely way different. So it's just kind of like, I'd rather the tones be more similar, especially when there's not like a whole gallery of Yellow Flash, Golden Patriot stories. You know, like once you have like a collection like a universe like Star Wars or something like that, yeah, you can get like, hey, this is the silly book in the universe. But now it's just like, hey, we have 2 books and the tones are very different, you know.
Mhm.
But anything else you want to say? I like the cover. The cover is really nice, I thought.
The cover was nice. The art was nice. I didn't have any problem with that. I think the story had issues. I think it's something that could be improved upon. I think that the editors who were there should have helped them a little bit more than they should have, in all honesty. If you paid for that editorial service, I would be saying, hey, how come you didn't point some of these things out for us? Like if you honestly paid for that, when people, because people are
Eh,
going to, we aren't special, we aren't different. We're other people are going to see these issues and probably bring them up in reviews. And it'd be something I would be like, hey, why didn't we cover this? Why didn't we look at me saying, why didn't we look at this bad sentence structure and this word balloon here?
yeah, it is. It's funky. It was like I said, like these repeat, like especially ever since, like I said, the John A. Douglas Orc City meme incident, where Orc in War was repeatedly used, and yeah, no, I kind of like keep an eye out more for that, and I'm just really noticed it really bad there. Again, you don't need to slap us in the face with the theme that hard. We get it, dude. We get the theme is luck. Like we didn't miss it.
Um,
Oh whoa,
oh, well,
Echo. What'd you do?
Did I fix it? Is it better now?
Wait, let me check.
Better?
No, there's an echo. Damn it.
There's still an echo? Where the fuck is. All right. Give me a second.
I mean, it's both, right? It's like obviously the editors are the last line, but at the same time, hey, all right, we're good. It could be that the editors look for spelling mistakes or like grammar issues, and they don't like look for clunky stuff. It depends on what level of editing they got, and also just because somebody edited something, it doesn't mean that the creator didn't give the ultimate, like, I don't care if that's what your suggestion is, I prefer this. It's their book, they can do that. And the editor, again, the editor with the comic, it could be more than just editing the words. It might be the panels or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be a lot
And I
of
would
things.
say on a creator owned property like that, you want last right of refusal to the editorial process. Sometimes maybe your editor isn't exactly in line with what you're trying to go for. I'm not going to say that's in this instance. I'm going to say in this instance that no, if the editor told them not to do that or said that sentence is clunky and they said to keep it in, entirely on the writers for that fucking that fuck up. But you have last right of refusal. It is your book. You're paying for the service. So more often than not, you'll have last right of refusal to say like, no, keep that in the script. I want it that way. And you want that as an independent creator. You don't want to
Yeah.
turn it when you let editorial ride roughshod over your creative decisions 100% and you don't agree with it, you're just Marvel at that point.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is Tales from the Battlefield. Again, that is a Yellow Flash project written by Literature Devil, art by the Quaff. Yeah, I guess like we said, it's not needed for the Mighty Golden Patriot read. I don't necessarily recommend it, to be honest, but it is on the cheaper end, so gotta spare up $8. It's there.
Yeah.
That decision's really based mostly off the writing on
I mean, I'll be honest, I've spent more on worse, so
that. Yeah. I'm not like obviously I'm not upset again that, but and again, I think it's such a cool idea to have a companion book along with it. It's just
I honestly like it. If it would have done a little more world building, or maybe if it would have kind of given some backstory around the artifact we're going to look at here, or something like that. Like in World War I, this artifact was encountered. That's it. I'll be honest. That's entirely what I convinced myself in my head that this was going to be. Is that like it's going to have something kind of to do with the setup of of wherever his powers come from. I came into this.
They might try to do the magic again later. I don't know. Like maybe that could come up. I doubt it. Again, World War One. That's a lot earlier than World War Two.
Way earlier.
I don't know. Does he have the same name as Mink? Is he the dude's dad? Is that it?
Maybe. I can't remember now.
I don't think so. I don't remember it being mentioned.
I don't think it was the same name as the main character.
But that's the review for that, guys. Thank you for checking out. Real quick before we get into stuff, I have Discord. I'm working on it, guys. So we got to build up for something. Go to the description, sign up for that. If you were listening in the beginning of this, you heard that I do a free audiobook thing. I post on my Twitter, on my Substack. I have I have 2 books available for purchase. I got a lot of things. I'm working on 4 different stories currently right now. A lot of things. So just sub to my Substack. Just add your email list and don't go any further. Just add that, and that's the best way to get on my monthly newsletter, so you can keep up to date with all the projects that I'm doing. Again, I have a lot of things coming forward. Or just go to the Discord. That's also a really efficient way to keep up to date with what I'm doing. Gonna have more reviews and stuff like that. Hey, if you guys want us to review a book, we're gonna try to I tried to tie in these reviews smaller indie creators with a bigger creator like a Rippaverse book. So because these obviously tend to get a little bit more attention. So if you want me to review it, hit me up. I might, just a heads up. If I look at it and I don't like it, I'm not going to review it. Plenty of people will be like, well, no, I want the criticism. And then you give them the criticism. Turns out they can't take criticism. I'm not dealing with that. I don't want to deal with that. I've dealt with something similar before. It's annoying. It's gay. So just not going to deal with that.
They're out there criticizing all sorts of shit these days. I think it is important to talk considerably more in your content about the shit that you like and put out shit and promote the shit that you like more than things you don't like. Or at the very least, talk about the things that you thought you'd like and didn't turn out as well. That happens too. I mean, but if it's something you're just like,
well, I care about my credibility as a reviewer, reviewing is a completely different skill than writing, completely different. People think that being a good reviewer equals good writer and vice versa. They don't.
For the most part.
They don't. Daniel Green, the biggest booktuber there is on YouTuber. Great reviewer, honestly. Terrible writer.
Yeah, that's the thing. You didn't see Siskel and Ebert going out there making film, guys.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I care about my word. So it's when people come to see my take on something, I want them to know that it's an honest one and someone entertaining, right? I want to be a little bit entertaining. We're riding on a short bus. But okay. Enough for the intermission. We're gonna get into the main attraction here. The Mighty Golden Patriot.
Definitely the best cover. I love that cover. That's the cover.
Dude, this is the standard cover, and I'm looking at it. It's fucking awesome. Every cover from the Mighty Golden Patriot was amazing.
Yeah, the covers
were crazy.
You want to just on the art alone, that the cover art was absolutely fantastic. I don't give a shit if he looks like the World War II, whatever Power Ranger it is they wanted to complain about. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
They say it looks like the gold Ranger, which he does. But everybody everything is derivative from something, right? There's there is no wholly original thought. Yes, he looks like him, but he's different enough. It's not it doesn't feel like stealing in the slightest.
The origin and everything else make it so much different than a Power Ranger, but the kind of ambiguity about the power set and everything else makes it a little Power Ranger-y. But yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, Irene does great covers. Okay. Written by Yellow Flash and drawn by John Dillard, which I've seen John Dillard's work before. He's a great artist, and this is no exception. Yellow Flash, this is the first time we're going to get a taste of his writing, so obviously it was interesting to potentially see what he's got. And what I said with Tales from the Battlefield, where I was like, the risk of writing a complex story versus a simple. This is a simple story, right? And it was advertised as such. If you ever heard Yellow Flash on a stream talk about it, he said this is just it's a fun story, right? And so this is simple, and that worked towards its strength. But it was also very action-packed, which at that point, it's like just getting the art from John Dillard is really good in this. So Mighty Golden Patriot is a guy who we got it's World War II, fighting against the Nazis in Africa. He's a fighter pilot, and we know that the Nazis are looking for a relic, which is kind of true to history. Hitler was interested in magic and sorts, dark magic. He stumbles upon it and thus is granted the suit and becomes the Mighty Golden Patriot, and he fights the Nazis with this superpowered suit, I guess. And he comes across the person because it's an amulet that grants him these powers. There's a second half to it, and one of the Nazi commanders or whatever has the second half, and he goes and has to fight him, and we'll get into exactly what happens there. But that's really the details in this, and this is it's a good length. I don't remember the length of it, but it's a 60, 70 pages, something like that.
I think it was like 6. I'm thinking 64 is where I'm aiming. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to go look it up, but yeah, it was somewhere in the 64 pages range. So nothing too insane. It was not as long as some other kind of action-packed indies that I've read, but yeah, I think that's about where it was.
Yeah. So it opens up. We get this first page right here. I'll talk about this piece in a second, but this is the first page of the story. And just like kind of brief description of what's going on with World War II. I will say, for the first page, I think this is honestly the worst page art-wise of all the pages. Which again, it's just like I want to be, introduced to something that really wows me. Again, it's not like I'm not going to read past this page, but this is honestly this page, this one right here is the worst it gets. But right before it, you have this amazing piece, really awesome, done by Matt Barr. And he did a cover for my book that you can get, so you have this A Tale of the Dunce Whisperer, but you can't get it online. You have to see me in person. Yeah. But yeah, no, so I just found that interesting. It's just like it's like faded. It's not that it's bad art. I'm like, out of all the pages, I think this is like the worst one. But it's not like that's a bad thing, honestly. Yeah, we get into this to the main character. He's flying a plane, and he's got a bunch of Nazi flags, probably and Jap flags, which I assume is from all of his kills. From the planes he's taking down. He gets shot down. And I will notice that as he's getting shot down by the anti-aircraft guns, we get to see some of the Nazi soldiers. And something that I noticed popped out, the eyes kind of stick out with the blue, which I thought was a nice touch. Really grabbed me. You don't even have to look at their uniform. You know that they're Nazis. I think that was an intentional thing. I think it was a nice detail.
I feel every time I see Von Coleman on stream. Doesn't feel like.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed it was I think it was an intentional thing, and it drew my eyes to the eyes exactly how it was intended. I like that, obviously the uniform tells you that he's a Nazi, but that visual storytelling, right? But yeah, he gets shot down, and instantly he just goes into a cave, and they waste no time. He's like, we're on like page 3 or 4 or something like that, and he gets the amulet, and he's the Mighty Golden Patriot, and you get this awesome piece, which you've probably seen before, of him grabbing it. As soon as he takes the amulet, he's instantly turned into it. So, and that kind of goes on with this story throughout. It's just like they are not wasting time. The story is moving,
paced,
keeping you going. I read this book so quickly, and I think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
Um,
like when you're reading, that's the thing I'll say about action adventure stuff, like with Dean Cain, All American Lawman. Don't be too complex. Make it something I can get through twice in
yeah.
like a sitting. Because I want the an action adventure. I want something to press now. Do I want to know more about the amulet? Do I want to know about the background? Sure. And you know what would be great for that? A companion book that matches it.
Well, I think we'll figure out more. Probably not. Like sometimes things don't need to explain. The ancient amulet can be an ancient amulet. You know.
Dus Honderhofen.
Well, no, yeah. Yeah, you get like in the English for the Nazis, they sprinkle in that like that some very very German words, America or however you say it. Okay, again, so he's instantly like flying up and taking all these planes, just beating them up. They're crashing into him. He's like, I barely feel that. I say that the coloring of this comic I really enjoyed. Like he has that orange goldish like outline around him. I just was very appealing to the guy.
Gold really worked well. Again, and I'll like people say, it looks like the Golden Ranger. The Golden Ranger's costume is actually one of the most standout.
He's the coolest Ranger. Of course, you're going to model after the coolest Ranger.
Well, you could argue that with the Green Ranger and the Dragon Ranger, but again, even the Green Ranger's costume, the coloration on it was perfect. It actually is a very.
Didn't the Green Ranger become the
green?
Didn't the Green Ranger become the Gold Ranger? Like I know he became the White Ranger, but didn't he become the Gold Ranger?
Was the Gold Ranger, but that's
yeah.
Even the White Ranger, the coolest Rangers had this good costume motif going on. Even the White Ranger worked so well. That tone of cool white with that black and the gold fucking that they weaved into it worked. And the gold and black on the Gold Ranger, the way he was colored in the show, the way they did the costume worked so perfectly. And they do that here. They get this because you'll see that the gold sometimes it's way too fucking yellow and shit. And no, you get this like this darker like gold, like a gold coin color of gold and the black, and it looks good together. Like it
looks good.
Visually,
I will say. So we have this action of him like flying out about, and I'm like, he instantly goes into that like, oh well, let's see what we can do with this. You know, the basic very like let's test the powers. And I will say like he wasn't as surprised as I really expect. I mean, right, he should have been more surprised. He's been like, "Whoa, what's this?" Which sometimes it's annoying, but like, "Whoa!" People do very stereotypical stuff with that, but I'm like, he needed to be a little bit more surprised.
A little like, yeah, because it was just like, I'm just gonna go ram myself into this plane wing and see what happens.
Well, I think the plane flew into him, to be fair. And I just okay. So I saw some criticism by somebody online. I think it was Amanda B. So she mentioned like so he feels the pain of a bullet, but he doesn't feel the pain of a plane flying into you. So on my reread, I really focus on that. Yeah, he mentions that he felt no pain specifically when the plane flew into him.
Yep.
But the bullet that hit him, that was a tank round. That's why that hurt him.
Yeah, it had considerably more force applied to it because it was traveling at actually greater speed.
Yeah.
That's the thing people don't understand. Like bullets.
Well, it's a lot bigger.
Faster than planes. Yeah, well,
it's tank. Well, also, I'm also kind of thinking like you hit him with ain't no way you're hitting somebody with a tank round, but I'm fine with that. It's one of those things like it's. I played video games where you hop in the tank and you shoot it. You can't hit the flying things.
Yeah, the plane is moving at a certain speed, but most bullets are moving faster than a plane. So a tank round is probably going to be a considerable bit more force than an old World War II fighter plane hitting you, quite potentially.
Well, they're hollow. They're like birds, kind of, steel birds.
Their lights are hollow.
Yeah.
I
don't. Yeah, I just if I pointed that out to her, I'm sure she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense." But yeah. So I'm not here to like correct everyone's criticism. It's just I do pay attention when people say things, and I try to look at it, see if it's if it's valid or not. And I don't really think that was a valid criticism. But yeah, again, like we're getting into this action and we're getting like this has been nonstop action from panel to panel. And we're like 15, 20 pages in. And it's the action's looking good. It's looking real good. Oh, I will mention, early on when he's like testing his powers out, one of the planes shoots like a missile at him. He grabs the missile and he throws the missile back at the plane. Cool move. However,
Yeah.
the explosion of the plane is completely cut off by the crease, by the bind. So that was unfortunate. I had to notice that because I got past that and I was like, wait, what happened to that plane? Like he was just throwing a missile, and then like I had to go back and look, and I was like, oh, it's you can barely see it. I'm like, ah, man, that's unfortunate that it was cut off that way.
That's where you got to be good with your panel work, like especially in trade bound books like that or prestige format bound books like that. And this is a problem mainstream books have had as well. I've always had this problem. Books that are bound in that kind of way, there are any even in the mainstream, you'll find key pieces of art getting cut off by binding that people didn't necessarily think through the binding when they did their panel work. Maybe in all honesty, in the instance of that, they could have just 180 flipped the damn image so you can see the explosion more. But yeah, it's not uncommon. Binding can be a pain in the butt.
Absolutely. So after we have all this action, like he gets worn down. He has to like kind of run off, and the suit like fades away, and he's like, oh no, like yeah, I guess like he just ran out of juice, right? And then so the Nazis are basically like, what's going on? We got to find this thing. And then instantly we're introduced to, they're working on big giant Nazi mechas. And I'm like, yes. And I know that was part of the advertisement. That was part of what interested me in the story. I'm like, yeah, like I think Wolfenstein, the video game, it feels very Wolfenstein where you have the Nazi mechs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's cool. I want to see more of that, like a lot of people are kind of groaning at another World War II story. I'm like, the African part's not told much, but also most of those stories don't have Nazi mechs.
Like Nazi mechs and American Power Rangers. I mean, it is definitely an original story for the era they're trying to tell it in. So I give it a lot of credit on that front.
Absolutely. Oh, again, I write a critique and I don't put what page it's on.
Gotta this make them page number notes.
Dude, that's the worst. This is why I don't usually take notes, because I like at work and stuff like that, because I know if I bother to take notes, first of all, it's going to take focus away from me trying to pay attention. Second of all, I know I'm gonna look at my notes later and be like, what was I trying to say? No,
again, it should always be your second read.
Yeah, it was another dialogue critique. Not another one, first one for this one, but it was again a little bit too much pointing out the obvious of what's happening.
Yes. I would say that was definitely something I felt like that they did a few times in this book as well. But I will say that even Eric July kind of did that in Isom, and I feel like it's something that's indicative of being a little bit green to this. Like not necessarily understanding that your reader base doesn't need you to actually do that. We're good. We saw it already. If you
and look, that's why I hope that they can see this and be able to take the criticism and apply it for later stuff, or you can watch this and trash it too, because honestly, like trying to decipher which criticism is going to work for your channel, like I might say something that sounds good and makes sense, but then when you put it into practice, the overall consumer purchasing the product, which is really what all you should be concerned about when you're putting product out, they might not agree with my take, even if it's like technically right. I'm curious where I put that, but again, the Nazi mechs are in action. They're in action. That's
the key thing. Nazi mechs is the key thing to take away here.
The art and the colors are just so good, so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and now we get some brutal massacre with the Nazi stuff, and they show some of it, right? Not too much to like it's gore porn, not anywhere close to that, but yeah, they pop somebody's head off with the mechanical claw, like there's some cool stuff in there. Do, do, do. I can't just yeah. I mean, again, so with the dialogue, and this is I'll mention it over and over again with keeping it simple. There's very little dialogue, so there's going to be less to pick out.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying going through all this action. Right? Not every story needs to be complex. It's simple, right?
Yeah.
And every page I turn, there's just nonstop action, and I'm like, this is what I want for my visual comics.
Yeah. More action, and not even just the action. What you're also getting is like the lack of complexity means that there isn't like we're not trying to tell this story where we've got all this nuance about a fucking Nazi villain. Like he's just a Nazi bad guy. So let's just get to it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the point. The Nazis are bad. They have evil mechs, and that I think we're at the point roughly about where the hot blonde chick is coming around, and that's
Absolutely. And well, before that, I found the dialogue issue I had. Basically, Mech is murdering people. He goes to distract it with a pistol shot, and he says, in his thoughts, hope this works. And then he says, "Hey, over here." I don't know. I don't think he needed the inner dialogue of saying, "Hope this works." I think
yeah.
I think we got that he hopes it works. Like,
Hey, you guys over here, shoot at me.
and then it's followed with once they start shooting at him, he goes, "That's right, follow me." And then like 2 panels over, he goes, "Okay, now follow me." But I'm like, they were already following him. So
Yeah, I remember.
yeah,
I remember what you're talking about now. Yeah,
little bit clunky, but again, we're just getting more action, kablooies. I know it's hard to see. It's probably for the benefit of, I don't want to. I want people to like, if they haven't watched this, if you like what you're hearing from us, go buy it. But yeah, essentially it was set up a little bit before that. That one of the Nazi girls was gonna go pirate one of these mechs, and go hunt down the mighty golden patriot. But then it's like instantly revealed that she was actually a spy. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no build up at all. She just shows up and she's like, just destroys the other mechs, but saves the hero.
One thing she's in there and like, oh, it's just some blonde German hot chick girl getting into the mech. Cool,
big titty bimbo.
Yeah, and she's drawn like a big titty bimbo. I respect it. Like, good.
Yeah.
The art was good. She looked hot. I liked her in like the tight. She had appropriate sweater muffins because she had a tight sweater on, and the muffins were juicy. But yeah, again, it's a simple story, so I'm kind of fine with them. They could have waited maybe a few more pages or closer to the end, but I'm not gonna like deride them for getting to the point because there's one thing I will say. If the last book's theme was luck, this book's theme is kind of getting to the point because they're very good.
Yeah. Well, so like after she destroys those mechs that were trying to kill the main character, she goes out and talks to him, and she immediately paints a white star over the Nazi symbol, and to signify it. And I'm going to read this right here because this is the worst part of the story. I think you know exactly what I'm going to talk about because this is important. This is important not just for this story; it's important for the overall Mighty Golden Patriot stories. So she says to him, basically, she's like, "I know some stuff about that amulet that you got." He says, "The leader of the Shadow Reich has the other half of the amulet. He's already powerful, but with both halves, he'd gain enough power to end the war. We can't let that happen. For some reason, the amulet let you transform before. I'm not sure why, but according to my research, if you say, 'In Ra's light, I stand strong,' it should work." Couple things there. In your research, like you just happen to know how it works.
Did you see the guy do that? Like, why not just I saw the crazy German dude say this, so you should say it.
And then he says it. He says, "In Ra's light, I stand strong." Yeah, or yeah, I saw him do it. It might work. I saw him do it. It might work for you. That might have been better set up. But
Yeah.
sorry, the transformation line in Ra's light, I stand strong. No, no, no. That needs to. That needs to. I don't care if that needs to be retconned. Dude, it needs to be something better than that. It's
Yeah.
so standard. And then now like it being like he's like an avatar of Ra, I guess, which that makes sense. That's cool, right? But also you're saying I get maybe it's a it's translated for us maybe, but I'm like English? Like it wouldn't be like ancient Egyptian? Or if it's an ancient thing that you had to speak?
How would you say how would you say this in ancient Egyptian or something?
But I get it. It's like supposed to be like Power Rangers. They say they do cheesy stuff. I would have honestly loved to went full cheese. I'm getting a little bit more into Power Rangers because my kids are young, and so I'm gonna have to start watching that stuff and again. And so, but it's kind of cool. But no, I'm like, I would have almost preferred it was like some more cheesy type of ordeal. And I wish we kind of got like a whole full on Power Ranger transformation. Yeah.
He takes the amulet and he's like, oh.
Yeah. So I would have preferred something cheesy in that way, not in Ra's light, I stand strong.
Yes.
I just
in brightest
Ra
day,
has nothing to do with like thematically strength. Like he's like the god of creation and the sun and a lot of things. Strength isn't one of them. What are we doing here?
No clue.
But still his transformations, like both these pages are awesome.
No, the artwork looks good. The call out is definitely kind of it is very cheese dick, but yeah, the art was good the whole way through the book. Like you're just sitting here staring at the art, the action, the mechs, the golden Patriot.
Well, and then, like this page too, because we got freaking big titty blonde bimbo piloting a Nazi mech with the standing behind as she stands behind the mighty golden Patriot in his like hero pose. Like this is awesome, and now we're about to see them go fight some Nazis. I'm like, that's like sick.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's yeah.
So how do you feel about him shooting laser beams from his hands? Because that's kind of the next thing he reflexively figures I shoot laser beams.
Inevitably, so this is where I was saying earlier, where we've got this like ambiguous Power Ranger power set. That was the thing. Like the Power Rangers always just seem to magically have a new power that fit the particular scenario they were in. So it's just like, are we going to define this, or are we just going to like make things up as we go along? But I think for the first issue, it's established very close to his first go round of using the power set, and he doesn't understand it. He's figuring out, so I'm kind of fine with the laser blasts now.
Yeah, like, I can't, but I almost felt I almost wish he went full cheese and did like a whole pose thing, and then all of a sudden summoned a Mighty Morphin sword or something like that, or maybe whips out a flute and starts summoning the Megazord.
I have a feeling we're going to see some sort of Egyptian artifact sword come into like a second issue. Be some more of this,
or if he summoned like a bow and then shot lasers from the bow. You know what I mean? I felt like lasers
kind of cool.
What like I don't. It's not just Power Rangers. There's a whole whatever it's called. It's a whole genre. I don't know much about it, so maybe trying to relate all this to Power Rangers is probably ignorant.
Power Rangers, VR Troopers. There's Masked Rider. There's tons of it out there of this kind of scenario. But yeah, I can't remember exactly what the genre is called, but this is a genre.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show this panel, but dude, it's the lighting's so good. There's this one short panel where like everything's red in it and it just highlights the Nazi symbol on the was that helmet or something like that. It's just like everything looks so good. And again, the story's moving fast. We're just constantly getting action. We get to see mostly the silhouette of the villain and we can see he's in a similar suit as the Mighty Golden Patriot, but he's got wings. And we just have our now two main heroes, blonde chick and the Patriot, just going around killing Nazis, flying around, and then all of a sudden the villain comes out of nowhere and takes down the chick with the mech, like kind of injures it. And now we're gonna get a whole ass fight between the two, and it's a pretty intense fight. Great art. I will say this is my thing. What criticism about the design of the villain on his own? I think it's kind of a cool design. And I know people said that like, oh, having them look too similar during the fight was kind of hard to keep track of who was who. I didn't really have that problem. I think they actually were distinct enough, especially with their like helmet designs. Don't fall asleep on me, Savage Dad.
Oh no, I'm not falling asleep, dude. I'm awake. I'm sorry.
But no, I think for me, what stands out is that the main character's design, his suit design, is definitely better than the villains.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I think that's, you always kind of want that to be like. I always felt like, you know, you want your hero to stand out. That's why Captain America always, like, the Red Skull could be anyone, anywhere. He could have a mask on. You could hide him, whatever. You saw a skull and you knew who he was. But Captain America was a big, giant fucking American flag, and that's what you wanted him to be. Your hero should always stand out more. I can see the argument here because I do believe that, like, the villain looked really kind of close, but like I still think the Golden Patriot did stand out more. They're just, if anything, it's really their coloration is too close. Not even the costume. The costumes are pretty different. The colors that they gave the both of them are too than the costumes, I think, are close.
Well, they highlighted him with that like orange glow, and they didn't do that with a villain. That was like the biggest way to, like, I didn't have a problem telling who is who. My thing is, it's like, you need, I think, because it seems like he's gonna be the main villain throughout the stories, and it's like you need to have them look equally as good, right? And when they do look so similar, it's hard for them to look equally good. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, it's almost like kind of like disappointing because it's a cool design, but it's like, but this one's obviously better, you know? Whereas if it did go for a much different design, and again, the reason he's got the suit is because he has the other part of the amulet. And so it makes sense that he would look similar. But yeah, I don't know. That's why it's like going for a different design for a villain. It's a lot easier to have them look equally as cool, but in different ways. You know? So.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could pull it off, and hopefully we'll see more of that.
But yeah, I think they have a good fight. I think it's pretty dynamic. I think it's not just like, you know, one punch, two punch. There's, you know, he's getting thrown against the wall. You feel some tension. You feel like somebody's going to lose. You definitely feel like the villain is definitely the stronger one in this. And I like that. And, you know, he didn't just, I was going to say he didn't just win from the power of friendship, but I guess he technically did win from the power of friendship. But he didn't like talking no jutsu, just like, you know, like, wait a minute, I just need to fight better. And just all of a sudden win. I need to get that clip. I need to get the clip of the guy going. I don't know if you ever see that Disney movie way back in the day. It's like Skate or something like that. And the main character's sister goes, well, have you ever tried to skate better? And he goes, skate better. That's how he skates better.
Yeah, exactly.
So I see that all the time, especially in like newbie writing. That's not what happened here. We got a good fight, and the only reason that they're able to lose is because the reinforcements of the American troops end up coming right at the right time.
Yep.
And what that does is we're not having the main villain like lose this fight, and then we're not going to face the villain again after he's already lost a fight, which that happens so much. And look, good, right? Brandon Sanderson did that so badly in his fourth Stormlight book. So that's not the case. He lost in a way that's still going to have tension when the Golden Patriot needs to face him again.
Yep.
So Yeah, and I think it wrapped up nicely. Like we just action upon action upon action, and then it's just like, all right, from now on, we're gonna have you train using this suit. And he's like, Roger that, sir. And so that's what it is. That's what the Mighty Golden Patriot is. It's a simple story, and with such a great artist, I'm much happier with a simple story, especially because of how often indie writers can screw up trying to be like witty and complex. It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, let me
man,
see.
I don't need that every time.
I have a perfect example of indie writers fucking up trying to be too complex by clearly fans of like guys, you're not Dune, you're not the writer of Dune, you're not the writer of Lord of the Rings, you're not writing this, just make an indie comic. Let me show you something. This didn't need to be this complex. This didn't need 4 missing pages of black ink either. That's an artistic critique, but from the story standpoint, this was way too complex, way too much story building for almost, in all honesty, no different than the amount of story that you had in Golden Patriot. Now, I'll admit, the art is absolutely gorgeous and godlike, but it is way too complex of a story that is not told aptly at all. You get lost in it. You don't know what's going on. You can figure out what's going on, but then it still doesn't make any sense. You don't need all of that. The great thing that I liked about Golden Patriot, I was able to go through, read it once very quickly, read it again very quickly, because it's an action adventure story. And I got exactly what I expected to have. I got a Power Rangers-esque American patriot going out there fighting the Nazis. Hey, I missed the part where there's supposed to be Nazi mech. So when those showed up, that was a bonus for me.
Oh yeah, that was like what made me get interested. Of course, it's been done before, but it's like whenever Hitler was famous, like infamous for being into the occult. So it's just like sprinkling that in.
Anytime I can get Nazi occult stories or remnant of Nazi occult stories, stuff out of like
was it
Hellboy. Yeah. Anytime, like, I love that kind of shit. Like that one, they were actually talking about, this is the Hollow Earth story arc that they did, like a Gartha and shit. I'm all for it. I love, Fourth Reich Antarctica stories. Let's go. Yellow Flash, if you ever see this, if you can take the Golden Patriot to Antarctica at some point, like once you get done with the World War II arc, I will. I can't give you enough of my own money for that, but I would love a Fourth Reich story with the Golden Patriot. Let's go. But yeah, I love that stuff. I love the World War II occult stuff. And all honesty, I think it's kind of I'm one of these people that does like believing. I like to believe in these kind of alternative historical event kind of things, or these extra normal historical event things. I like to put some belief in that. I think there's plenty of shit that we don't know that goes on in the world. So,
well, as we know, I'm a big fan of Full Metal. I almost said Full Metal Jacket. I like that movie, but Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist, the movie, which some people don't like, but I'm like, I think it's kind of really cool that like there's alternate universes, just our universe, but alchemy's used from all the souls in World War II. Did you never see that movie?
I haven't seen the Full Metal Alchemist. Like is it the live action?
No. It gets complicated when you talk Full Metal Alchemist because it's the original anime, but it's not based off the manga, and there was a movie for it. Yeah, we don't have to get into it, but like I said, this was advertised as a fun story, and that's what we got. And I'm so like, there's so many times too. It's like especially on the first issue, it's just like, well, we got to give you all these details in the story to get you prepared for the second, and I'm just like, just have some dudes fight, man. Have them smack each other around.
That was my biggest complaint about Isom. It's like, guy, I get it. You're trying to launch a universe. You're doing too much. Just have Isom beat up this gangster in the street.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. That's what we got here, because that's what I was expecting. And the big titty bimbo spy chick, like, hey.
Well, it's all this flavor, and that's why I always say, like, I don't go for those like John Wicks or the like not Wanted. Fuck, what's that movie? Whatever. Just like when it's like a guy who's really good with guns going around killing people, and I don't really care for them. And I'm sure they're good movies, but everybody tries to get me to watch them. But I'm like, I want fantasy sprinkled in. I want to escape, you know. So it's like again, that's throwing a Power Ranger esque type character. That's cool. And again, like when I first saw that, I was kind of like, Power Ranger. Yeah, I was into it when I was a kid, but there's like a whole fandom that loves that stuff still to this day. And like, the rare times I go on Facebook, I guess I accidentally clicked on a Power Ranger image once. So, that's all I get now. And I'm like, I'll get those scenes, sent to me. And I'm like, I kind of just like realize you have to look at it as like live action anime. And it starts to make a lot more sense. I mean, that's really what it was back in the day, that when they were in the Power Ranger suit in the original series, I'm pretty sure it was the Japanese filmed scenes. Yep. They just voiced them over, and it's kind of nice too. I remember him like, we have a scene where his suit gets cracked and we get to see that, right? And I kind of like that with the art and everything like that. Especially with the Power Ranger stuff that you would watch, you wouldn't really see. They never really get to see their face through that stuff, so it's kind of cool little touch in there. Why are we doing pina coladas? What's going on?
Pina coladas.
What's going on in the chat? What's going on? If you have half a brain. Okay, I think at that point, let me look over my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, Yellow Flash, if you're still listening, man, that transform line. That was the one part where that didn't fly with me. But everything else, man, this was above what I expected for this. Especially when you don't know what you're going to get from a new writer.
Oh yeah,
better than Super Killer, right? Go watch that review if you have the time.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I didn't watch the review when you dropped it. I was like, oh, you mean the book's coming out? No, I didn't mean the book was coming out, but it was a digital copy, right? That's was sent out basically.
Yeah, I'll get to it. But I mean, like, if we're gonna take anything from this review, it's about writing a more complex story, or try to be a complex story versus a simple story. Yeah. And with my last review on my channel, that was the issue there. I think that was the issue with this companion story here. But with Mighty Golden Patriot, you get that simple, nice, clear, awesome action. It's awesome. So
yeah,
thanks everyone for stopping by. I like talking about comics. That's why I talk about this stuff. So if you're still around, click that subscribe button or whatever. Check my links. Join my Discord if you want something. And then also, if you watched the beginning of this video, you would have heard my audiobook. Follow me on Twitter. Follow my Substack or something. Every week I release a new audio for the short stories I write. I'm telling you, these stories are awesome. They're super fun, high testosterone. The next, at some point, you're going to hear the audio. Well, actually, I've released on my Twitter already. You can hear it. The story of the goth, the big titty goth bimbo and her turbo simps. Excellent story. S tier. Check it out, guys. And share us around. Again, this is a place for people to come and listen about a story that they've already read or maybe been on a fence, because I know getting spoilers actually sometimes interests people and more to pick it up. So people don't really have a place to necessarily hear some of the things that they might be thinking, or just want to hear somebody discuss something that they've consumed. That's kind of the crappy part about the indie scene. It's just people aren't really talking about the stuff, which I get it. It's not really something that gets views, but
I'm completely lame. I didn't have chat open. Yellow Flash was actually in the chat.
Yeah.
I missed you highlighting that somehow because I'm old and retarded. That's awesome that he came to check it out. Hey,
yeah,
that's really cool. yeah, I hope that appreciates the commentary on it. Like, even on the companion book, maybe a little. In all honesty, I don't think we're.
Don't stumble over your words there.
No, I don't want to say that. I was going to say that we were a little rough on it, but I don't think we were rough on it. I think we're just being honest about it. That's
Nah,
kind of
that's all we're gonna be on here is honest. Hey, and again, I reviewed Super Killer on this channel. We're done talking about Mighty Golden Patriot in general here, guys. So the reviews are done. But yeah, I reviewed that book, and that left such a sour taste in my mouth from buying it because that was my first late book that I purchased. I wasn't in the scene. Like I didn't like I barely heard the whispers of Comicsgate until like a couple years ago. Um, and I wasn't a fan of Vito or anything, but I was just trying to do reviews for my channel. Not like this. I was something older I used to do. So I got it. I was planning on reviewing it, and it was like the first book that I got, and I'm like, oh, I'm never getting this book, which I still might not get it. I know people are like, oh, he sent it out. Yeah, he sent it out the digital. I don't think digital was an option. So everyone who ordered it got a physical copy. So until we get that physical copy, we haven't got the book. Which again, if you order the physical copy, if you send me a digital to read first, I'm like, I read my physical books. I don't.
yeah.
I would like. I
don't even bother.
Like, digital's great for a review, but
yeah, I my first late book was this. So this is the first book I ever got. It's only 3 years late, guys. It's okay. This is what happens when it's not 5 years late, though. So I look forward when Rainbow Brute drops.
But it's like it's just like I know people get tired of hearing about people complain about late books, but I'm like, dude, the thing is, it's like because we were there and like I have a YouTube channel, you have a YouTube channel, so obviously like we have more incentive to keep talking about this stuff. Especially me as a creator myself, because I'm generally in the scene, so I'm being an active member of this indie community. Not to mention that I do love it, but I'm like, if I wasn't a writer, and if I touched the indie scene, because like, look, I'll be honest, I only really got into the indie scene in the first place because I was a writer trying to seek out, help and such and whatever. But if I ever did touch it before becoming a writer and I got a book that was that late and went through all that stuff, I would be like, okay, I'm done. Like, not happening again. I'm like, I sound like if I get disappointed by the story, like, yeah, maybe I that wouldn't make me throw down the indie community, but I'm like, yeah, it's just like I've already heard about Kickstarters having campaigns and crowdfunding campaigns having issues. So it's like when you actually experience that, it's like, oh crap, like
yeah.
So I was worried about this, and then it happened. Is that a BLM comic? Which one?
The one I put up on screen, I would believe. Let's see.
Oh, got it.
Chat. Here you go. I want everybody to know that we believe that these comics matter too. I don't know. I'm going to say that I don't believe that this comic is from a black creator, but they might be a black creator when you look at this. So I just want everybody to know that yes. Black pages matter, folks. Black pages matter.
Man, that's ridiculous. That's absurd. Yeah, I don't know, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end the stream? I like to chit chat usually a little bit afterwards.
I think we hit all the good points. I like you said, I like that it was a good, quick, action-packed story. Like sometimes I just want that in a comic. Sometimes I don't want to like trudge through, an hour trying to put together all these complex threads that a story is putting out there. And that usually means I'm reading something considerably larger when that happens usually. So when you try to, and I find that many a creator thinks that they can craft a complex story in 48 pages, and the vast majority of them fall flat on their faces. And in the indie scene, you really just want to put out something that's good that people can enjoy. Doesn't matter if it's Chris Claremont complex with 10 15 tons of dialogue in it. Just make a complex story. Get to the point, which I think is what I appreciated most that Yellow Flash did. He got.
I probably should have said this before, like I ended the review, but yes, I did like the comic, and I do recommend people get it. If for nothing, John Dillard's art. It's like the art combined with his colors.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Dillard do the colors on it as well? Was he the colors?
He did. Well, it's only has him listed as the artist, so
okay, so that was color. So yeah, no, fantastic color work on that. Fantastic art. It was, just posters on posters on posters in here. Like seriously, trading cards, just nice full page shots of things that I really enjoyed. I thought it was a good time. I think that Dillard's art. No offense, Yellow Flash. Dillard's art does outshine your writing. I will say that. I'll be a dick about your writing. I like the story. I already said.
Oh no, the very experienced artist did it way better in his art than the newbie writer. What a surprise!
I would imagine someone like Yellow Flash can take that critique, and that isn't a critique even against the story. I'm just saying Dillard's art was very good. Like you picked a good partner for this, and if you guys can
absolutely, yeah.
Like I would say even the same thing about like this here. I loved this book when it came out, but George Alexopoulos' art in Ghost of the Badlands outshines Razor Fist's writing by far. Like
I read and reviewed that one a while back. It was funny. Art is fantastic in that book, but I'm also like I can't help but like think about his memes. when I'm looking at
memes, but like there's this one scene that he did in here. The art was amazing, and it was like I don't think George came out to the Southwest, but the way he understood what the high plains of Arizona look like, not even just
he did. He actually he made comments about doing that.
He did go out, okay? Because I was going to say he understood what the sunset looks like up there. I'm from Arizona. I spent many a time up in this particular part of Arizona, like understanding what the light looks like and the way the sun sets up there, the colors that you get and everything else. It's something that you'd have to be there to understand, but he captures it so well. But like, he's just here. Like this is such.
Yeah. So George, right? George's name. I've seen him in some reviews, and sometimes he's very much like my profile picture. Sometimes when talking about art, but
yes, absolutely is.
But he backs it up, though. He fucking backs it up.
Well, like his memes, like that. I expected his memes when I signed up for that book, and I got so much fucking more than his memes. Like he took it to the next level. I understand why. I understand why he's not in it for the next story that Razor Fist is doing. He poured a lot of himself into that. I think a lot of artwork, a lot of really hard work, and I really think that he hoped it would have done better. And I don't know why it didn't. It's actually a fantastic story, and his art alone should have sold so many more copies of that than it did.
I don't get how it didn't do better either.
Yeah.
And then one of the complaints I had about that too is the way it was shipped.
Yeah.
If you remember, it wasn't like in a cardboard box or anything. It was in a like a foldable package delivery thing. So I was kind of like, that was weird.
Thankfully, the hard cover that I got didn't damage it, and I still have like I got the hard cover and the soft cover because I love fucking George's art. This is still sealed. I didn't even fuck with that one.
Yeah, his art was top notch in that, which is it sucks for Razor Fist's like second book because I think he plans on doing more, but I'm like he's not gonna have George for it, and I'm like, good luck replacing George.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see. If it's kind of an anthology thing and you've got maybe a different story with the ghost and somewhere else in some other place and you want a different artist and you have a different artist with a different scene.
Yeah.
Well,
at the time we had like a mage leader on. I know you don't know who he is, but he wrote a Western book. And we had him on our show like previously where we watched a Western and we also I can't hear you anymore. No.
Oh no, sorry. My son's putting his book away.
Yeah, we have like a few books where it's just like so many different stories, and there's always a character that almost entirely talks in Bible quotes. It was like this was the last one we read. I'm just like, oh, another character talking in Bible quotes. Yeah. But oh yeah, that goes to the Badland. All right. What comics do you have coming up? So people, if you're tuning in, you're listening. I'm currently reading the new Teen Titans. It's taken me a while. There's a lot to read for it, but I think I'm going to be doing a video discussing one of the elements of it, and also kind of comparing like the cartoon or the comic versus the cartoon everybody loves, and talk about like what kind of like worked better for that. There's some really interesting things to talk about, especially with the history of that.
Is that the Wolfman era stuff that you're reading then?
Who's that? Dude, I need to pay attention to the artists and names. George, something like
George
I don't know,
Perez?
like I'm getting better about it now, but like, dude, before entering the indie scene, if you ask me the director or like writer of anything, I'm like, I don't fucking know. And like all the comics I read, like I have a Civil War comic. My mom's house burned down. I don't have any of my old comics anymore. That happened earlier in the summer. I think I showed you a picture. Yeah, it has Civil War comic, and I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who drew it. What?
Mark Millar. And Mark Millar and
Oh yeah. I know Mark Millar now. Yeah.
And hey, if you're not like if not everybody knows comics when they get into the scene. There are plenty of people who write shit that don't read comics, or weren't.
Well, I did. Yeah, I mean, being the scene it really is a cool thing. I mean, like going to Heroes Con, like you mentioned, Mark Millar, he's got Vatican City. I had dinner with the artists of Vatican City, and I drove him back to the hotel. So it's like that's cool.
Talk about like a book that was done like a very 3-issue arc. Just about as probably a little bit more pages than Golden Patriot. Very quickly paced.
I haven't read that one yet. You read that?
Good. I finished all.
I plan on reading it at some point. It's on Global Comics.
Huh?
It's on Global Comics, which is nice.
I'm read it on Global Comics. I had the first issue and the third issue, and I couldn't find the damn second issue, so I had to get it on eBay. But I had to get some Conan comics to fill in some stuff I was missing there. But I read it. Quick story. Not overly complex. Actually, this is the thing that Mark Millar is a professional, though. He's Mark Millar. It's a very simple to read story with a mildly, not overly complex concept. That's it. Like, here's a premise of what it is. It's a good, engaging premise with a simple story, and he knocks it out in 3 issues, and like completely satisfying and very quick. You'll pour through the 3 issues of the floppies as quickly as you did Golden Patriot, and you'll get everything from it that you want. I like the plot. Like he wrote it like he was going to make a movie out of it. That's how it played.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, besides that, I still have a bunch of Rippaverse comics just ready, almost on the way.
Have you read? Are you doing Great War of Separation?
So I got the first one, and I reviewed the first one. Really liked it. The second one, he released too many books, and I'm like, I can't buy these books. But with the Zaylan 60% off, I was able to purchase like a crap ton. So when the anthology books comes out, yeah. So I'm gonna review all that stuff when it comes out. Tome of the Reckoning, if people know that. There was 2 issues out from that. So this guy named Dio. It was a great story. I got issue 3, and it's really late. Now he did some of the art in one of my books, Tale of the Dunce Whisperer. And it's late because his hand got chopped up by a buzzsaw.
Oh, Jesus.
So
that's a reason to be at least 3 years late with your book. Don't worry.
Oh, do you know what he's giving people to in return for being late? Issue 4. So yeah, we're getting issue 2 and or 3 and 4 for that. So I'm excited for that. I don't think I have anything else. I know I have some books I really want to back. I really want to read Magic Cop 2, which is on Global Comics. So I got Global Comics subscription. So I'm a review of that. Expect that. Fiendish 2 and 2.5. I've read those both. I'm probably gonna review those at some point. And then also Phil Diaz, he was in the comments way earlier in the show. He's got The Man with No Strings, which is dope title, and it's about
Title.
Yeah, it's about a dude. I think he's keeping it's pretty secretive, but he's got like kind of a puppet hand, and he's mentioned it's a Western fantasy. Speaking about Westerns, very interested in that. I plan on getting it. I don't have money right now, but
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and actually work through my back catalog of stuff. Like, I'm still working on the Kyle Rayner Compendium.
Phenomenova 3 got that coming. Yeah,
Phenomenova 3. I've got I dropped quite a bit of money on our buddy Yvonne Coleman. I've got a number of people I want to hand those out to. Comic shops that I actually told them I'd go hand out to.
It's awesome to hear. Two's better than one. One was really good.
Yeah, one. In all honesty, Great War of Separation, I think, is actually a really engaging setup for the universe that he's building. And what I appreciate even more is that Eric July was like, "Hey, Chuck, can you make this better than I could? Even though this is 100% my story, my conception. This is the way I feel like my universe should be set up. But Chuck Dixon, please, if you would write this."
I mean, I say this like every stream. I'm like, if Eric can just get one more writer that's like close to Chuck Dixon level to write like consistently for it, I'm like, probably on top of Mike Barron. I like really like Mike Barron as a writer, but
if
like on top of that,
Speedster to Mike Barron.
The what? The Speedster?
The Speedster. If he gives that to Mike Barron, like, I'm here for that.
The Speedster needs a costume change. You know, we talked about the Mighty Golden Patriot and, you know, its relation to the Gold Ranger, where we're like, it's different enough, right? And I think we agree on that. I just think the Blue Shift looks too close to Wally West.
Wally West current day or Wally West in the past?
Well, I guess in the past, because I remember I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, the hair color is different, because I thought that Wally West had blonde hair, but then as soon as you Google Wally West, he pops up with the red hair all the time.
He's a redhead. He's a ginger.
But in the new Teen Titans, which I get it's not his first name, but in the new Teen Titans Bronze Age, he's blonde. Damn it. You fed?
No, I have pictures of Isaac training at Quantico, and he just doesn't appreciate me sharing them. He's trying to he's projecting is what he's doing.
Well, I'm assuming it's a meme.
I don't know. It's just a picture.
Well, you know, I've been to Quantico. I lived in Quantico for 5.5 years.
So wait, you're so Isaac Batsauce is the Fed. Confirmed.
No. Look. There's actually two sides of the base. All right. The Fed training is on the other side of the base from where I work. I went over that side sometimes, but not the side I was on.
I don't know. This doesn't sound like a good excuse to not.
No, if you know 95. Whoa, I just echoed really bad. 95 is the major highway in Virginia, and it goes right through Quantico. It's split up 2 different gates for each side. So, yeah.
What's the gate you were on that you're claiming to be on? Was that the CIA side or the FBI side?
There is no CIA there. Shut up.
Of course there isn't.
All right. I think we can shoot shit. We're probably gonna shoot the shit back in the back room. But guys, if you have any suggestions for comics, again, if you want me to review your comic, let me know. Again, if it looks lame, looks gay, I'm not gonna review it. It's not happening.
He might even review. To be fair, though, come on. If it looks gay, he might review it. I'm sure he'll review Rainbow the Brood.
On that note,
remember, son, dying is gay.
Thank you all for joining the stream. This has been fun. I love talking about this stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you're not, and if you are retarded, but that's okay. We're all having a blast here being retarded. we're more happy for it. Guys, have a good night.